Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Spotify.
Before you dive in, you need to call your mother and have her overnight the Kane settlement documents right away. Tell her to pay in cash and make sure she uses a fake name.
What will those prove?
They'll prove your father's being paid to take the fall. And don't use your cell phone. Use this. It's not traceable.
Okay. But I have to be able to take calls from my boyfriend. Unless you also want the police, Marines, and the National Guard out looking for me. I'll check the caller ID. Only him, no one else.
No one else. And Amelia, he can't know your location.
Veronica?
Yeah.
Have you seen him? You know, in prison.
Yeah.
How is he?
Dying. But if you know that, it's doubtful you'll help me. He's doing fine.
What's up, everybody out there in podcast listening land? Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Veronica Mars. We're just two boys watching every episode of Veronica Mars for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're going over Season 1, Episode 17, titled Canes and Abels. Directed by Nick Mark, written by Carolyn Murray, original air date April 5th, 2005, to an audience of 2.78 million people. And before we get into the episode, everybody, we've got a shout out. Shout out. Gotta give a shout out to our Discord user, Mark, aka Marcuswell. Mark Sewell. Don't know how to pronounce it, but Mark came in clutch, got the second season of Veronica Mars for the boys, got the DVDs. Thank you, Mark. We were missing the second season.
Yeah, so we're 3 seasons locked in right now.
Yes, we are. We are locked in. We cannot stray.
No, we cannot.
So thank you, Mark. Really appreciate that. You are a true superstar of the podcast today. We also have some fun little announcements as well. I don't know if you saw on our Instagram page, but we posted about it. The boys were on a little guest spot. We did a little guest spot on the Movie Wars podcast, where we talk about the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Hard Target, which was insane, a good time. It was so fun to hang out with Kyle and just really enjoy that movie.
Yeah, that was the first time. That was the first watch for both of us. I'd seen a decent amount of Van Damme movies, but I had not. I just missed Hard Target, and boy, oh boy, is that a classic action. Not even B movie, not B. Yeah. John Woo's first American movie.
Yep.
Yeah, just great stuff. Lance Henriksen in it.
Mullet flying wild.
Mullet, kicks, punching snakes. It's we don't do a lot of action movies on our platform. You know, we're more of the what would you say, what is this genre that we've found ourselves in? Because we're not fully fantasy.
We're
not female-led 90s nostalgic.
Yeah.
90s, early 2000s nostalgic.
Yeah. We just watched shit from 20 years ago. That's the genre we're in.
Yeah. And that was just like too far. It was like too far away. But no, it was a blast, and Kyle's great, and the Movie Wars podcast is awesome. They did a whole Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure trilogy. So check it out. He's got some good stuff on there, some great movie reviews.
Yeah, Movie Wars, super fun. Subscribe to them. You may have heard their little ad while we're on a ad break. Mm-hmm. Go and check them out. This is an extra incentive.
Yeah.
Movie Wars rules.
Yeah, hear us talk about a crazy Van Damme and ranking all the action heroes of the 90s.
Absolutely. And speaking of movies, Vance, you want to take this one? You want to take the lead?
Yeah, we have decided on our movie for this month that will be out this Thursday, if you're listening to this live. Listening to it live when it first drops. We are going to do we kind of came to this movie randomly due to some scheduling stuff, but I'm happy we did. Yep. This month's Patreon movie, boys watching movie, will be Matilda, the original Matilda, directed by Danny DeVito. Classic Roald Dahl story.
Yes. It had been a long time since I had seen Matilda, and I forgot how wacky it actually is. And it was good revisiting that.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd ever seen it in full.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, you got to go over to patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, where we're also doing Boys Watching Dollhouse, which is, wow, that show's going crazy. That show has gotten bizarre.
I can't wait to talk about this ripped from the headlines Lifetime style movie episode that we have this week.
Yes, this Dollhouse episode is so strange.
And if you're curious of what episode we're talking about, I'm talking about Instinct, the second
season 2, episode 2.
Yeah. Can't wait to talk about that.
So that's on patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy. I'm going sparkling blue raspberry today.
I'm going watermelon. I have a lot of watermelons left.
Jealous. I think I have like maybe 3 or 4 left.
Yeah,
I have 3 or 4 watermelon and 1 cherry, I believe.
I think I just have the blueberry. I thought I had more cherry, but it's just watermelons and blueberries. I don't know what the split would happen, but I ain't complaining.
Well, I mean, the watermelons are the best ones. I was just feeling blue raspberry today for whatever reason. I was like, I got to have it.
You know, I mean, you got us recording real early today, so I need this to kick in.
Needed. Yeah, it's been scheduling this month has been a shit show. I've got a lot of conflicts.
Oh, Joe has a life outside of the podcast.
Everybody, you can head on over to the Amazon wish list, and if there's anything on there that you think Vance put on there, get that for Vance, because he's been putting up with some shit with me this month.
I almost added something to the wish list last night, actually.
Well, add it, whatever it is going to be. If it's a book, that's definitely Vance.
There is a book on there that I want.
Yeah. I've been all over the place. I watched wrong episodes. I've been a fucking ass.
Stealing predictions.
Yeah. Speaking of predictions.
Speaking of predictions.
Look at us, dude. We're like pros.
And we're getting into the episode like not even 10 minutes late.
I know. Before the 10-minute mark? Are you serious? You want to vamp some more?
The one thing that never wanted to have our podcast be, is all the upfront, and now look at us. Now get it. You get it. You know, you listen to a podcast and you go, oh, they do a lot of talking up top, and then you get into it and you're like, oh yeah, I get it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Cain's and Abel's. What did we predict for this episode?
I predicted that, like a little half-heartedly, that it's just the biblical Cain and killing Abel Koontz flashbacks. No Abel Koontz flashbacks, but we get a lot of flashbacks, a lot of fake flashbacks,
imagined flashbacks,
which I wish the show had more of because those were hilarious.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
You said that Wiedman at Jake's behest gets someone to kill Abel Koontz, and Veronica confronts Wiedman.
Oh, I mean, that was pretty close. I had the wrong person that he was trying to confront.
You had the wrong Mars.
Yeah. I had the wrong Koontz too.
Well, actually, and the wrong.
I mean, Veronica does kind of confront him.
I'll give you like 10% on this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would take like 5.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let's get into Cain's and Abel's. This episode starts with a recap of the entire season, and then it opens up with Veronica theorizing about why Jake Cain would buy Abel Koontz's confession. She's like, I don't know why he would do this. There's something going on here, but it's definitely fishy. Abel Koontz definitely didn't do this. And Veronica is going to track down Abel Koontz's daughter because she overheard from her little spy bug situation that she has in Clarence Wiedman's office, who would be the beneficiary of Abel Koontz's vast fortune. And it would be his daughter, Amelia de Longpre. And she's like, I got to get to Amelia before Clarence Wiedman does. And then she finds out that Amelia lives in LA. And Veronica's like, great, I'm off.
Great, I'm there like 90% of the time anyway. Perfect.
Yeah, grabs her little messenger bag and she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she goes to LA. Now we go to a dorm, which Veronica found out that Amelia goes to a college in LA. So we go to a dorm room in LA. There's a knock at the door. It's this brown-haired girl. She gets up. She answers the door. And who is at the door but a Dick Tracy villain? AKA Clarence Wiedman, who is dressed insanely.
Have you ever seen that Dick Tracy, that like one from the 90s, where they look
it's
so cartoon? I mean, it's crazy looking.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but that movie.
That was a crazy movie. That might be
watching movies.
That might have to be added to the
that
list.
Might have to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Oh yeah, we should do that now too, probably.
Yeah. So for next month's movie, for the movie for June, we're doing a poll. 2 movies that Vance picks, 2 movies that I pick. We're going to have the Discord users vote on the movies. We're not going to tell you whose movies are whose, but once it is picked, it will be revealed and we will review whatever movie wins.
Yeah.
Boom. There we go. So yes, Clarence Wiedman shows up to this dorm room and he's like, hello, Ms. de Longpre. Is this you? Is that you? I'm here to see you. And she's like, oh, I'm not. I'm actually her roommate. Amelia left a little while ago. And Clarence Wiedman's like, with who? What did she look like? And she's like, I don't know, tiny, cute little blonde girl. And Wiedman's like, drats.
I wish he had something he could crumple up in his hand.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Like a packet of crackers or something.
Yeah. Just like leave the crumbs all over the floor. Yeah. And then he just goes, Mars.
He hates space.
I don't understand how he doesn't know what Amelia looks like. Because her roommate doesn't look anything like Amelia.
Good point. I know that I understand the fake out for us, the audience, because the editing makes it seem like, oh no, Clarence Wiedman got to her beforehand. And then it's like, oh, that's the roommate.
Mm-hmm. But whatever.
Clarence Wiedman is slow too.
Yeah, he is.
Also, he does this himself. He doesn't have They're a $1 billion corporation. He doesn't have any goons.
He is the goon. Dude, I just couldn't get over how he's dressed with his trench coat. His like black trench coat in a suit with a fedora. No, not a fedora. He's got a trilby on. And he looks like he should have a pipe. Like he looks insane.
How did he get in the dorm to knock on the door?
I have no idea, dude. He's got that suit.
We're getting, right? Again, these are nitpicks, but yeah.
Yes. But it's actually Veronica. Veronica's in the parking lot with Amelia DeLongpre. And she's telling Amelia, like, what the situation is, like, with Abel Koontz. And, like, hey, I think your dad is innocent. I have a bunch of evidence. And you've also been paid off for Abel's confession. She's like, why is my dad getting paid off? Why? All he did was get, like, a bunch of stock in Kane Software. And she's like, that's a payoff, Amelia. Get in the car. And then so Veronica takes Amelia to the Ocean Beach Hotel. And they get a hotel room. And Amelia's like very chill about all of this.
Real chill to the point where I was like, there's got to be a twist with her.
Yeah. Like she gets to the hotel room and Veronica's like, I'm so sorry for basically kidnapping you and taking you to a dinky hotel room. And Amelia's like, it's whatever. One dorm room. I just got to study for finals. It's no big deal. And Veronica's like, here's an untraceable phone. Don't let anyone know your location. And she's like, all right, can I call you my boyfriend though?
I was
like, what?
A random girl picked you up and said your dad was framed and being paid off and taking the fall. And she's just like, la, la, la.
Yeah. Your dad was accused of murder. It's my best friend. She doesn't say this, but she's like, your dad's been accused of murder and I think he's innocent. And Amelia's like, cool. You think we can get room service?
Again, like we find this out later, but she changed her name after this.
Yeah.
So girl showing up and bringing up her dad would be like multiple questions.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that in some media I'm watching where people have a chance to ask questions when in a situation and then they just don't.
Yep.
Like you would have like at least 5 questions for Veronica there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know how far away the Ocean Beach Hotel is from this dorm room. There's going to be some questions in the car.
Yeah.
Like Veronica is like, are we to believe that they drove silently to this hotel and then Veronica just...
Does she not know that Veronica is the daughter of Keith Mars, the ousted sheriff who didn't, but like, what is she...
Maybe we're like overblowing how big of a news story this would be because like nobody knows Keith except for...
It's not that big if your dad's arrested for the murder and you changed your name.
Yeah.
She changed her name. Like,
yeah.
She was like, I can't. Veronica
Did she change her name? Did she change her name because of the murder or because of the other thing that happens that's revealed later?
The murder.
Okay.
Yeah. But also the other thing that's revealed later would also make her have more questions about, like, I'm really confused in that reveal scene.
Yeah. But Amelia is like, have you seen my dad? Have you seen Abel? And Veronica's like, yeah. And Amelia's like, how's he doing? And Veronica's voiceover is like, he's dying, dude. He's got cancer. And then Veronica just goes, he's fine. He's just on death row.
He's like, yeah, he's fine. I can't tell you the truth. Not yet. Yeah. I gotta get what I need out of you.
Yeah. Veronica then asks Amelia for a favor.
Basically. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But Veronica, it's school, and she's like, not only am I investigating this murder, and I've got a bunch of other shit going on, but it's midterms.
That's my note, just says midterms, period.
And then we see that there's this girl, her name is Sabrina, and her face is being used on a phone sex ad in the newspapers. Mm-hmm. And Sabrina's in class and she's like, this isn't funny. She stands up. She asks the teacher for an extension on her exam. She's like, I've been under a lot of stress. Like, I've had people doing all kinds of crazy shit to me, like this phone sex ad thing. This morning, all of my tires were flattened. Like, somebody's fucking with me. And the teacher's like, okay. We can give you an extension.
Very Cruel Intentions-esque. That's what I was thinking when I saw this ad.
I was not, but
Yeah.
I could see it. But then we got this Dick Casablancas there, and he's like scoffing at her in the phone sex ad. We need more Dick Casablancas. Just because I want to say his name.
Yeah, he is there. He is there.
But seated behind him is a character named Hamilton Cho. And Hamilton Cho is like, oh, of course she gets an extension. Of course she gets an extension. Her mom is the school board president. She gets whatever the hell she wants. And then Dick Casablancas is like, yeah, dork.
Yeah, Hamilton Cho's kind of being a little egregious here.
Yeah, I was very confused about Hamilton Cho in this scene.
I get that. I've never been an academic competitiveness person.
Yeah, me neither, obviously.
I was valedictorian of my middle school, though.
Of your middle school?
Yeah.
They have that?
Yeah. That my middle school did. Yeah.
Huh.
Had to write a speech and everything.
Damn.
Now look at me. But yeah, it was just like, dude, her face is in like a sex hotline and she has like flats. Like, I know he's competing for this thing later, but
yeah, come
on.
Yeah. So Veronica's in her office, aka bathroom, which is mentioned.
Yep.
This girl, Sabrina, she goes into the bathroom. She's like, Veronica Mars, I need your help. I heard that this is like your office, this bathroom.
I know you're somehow the least popular girl in school, but yet the most important one that we all come to when we need help.
Yet also, some people don't know who you are.
Yeah.
But she's like, Veronica, I need your help finding out who is harassing me. And Veronica's like, why would I do that? And Sabrina's like, I will pay you. Here's $100 up front, and I'll give you $400 more to prove that it is my ex-boyfriend who we've seen before, Kaz, a.k.a. Zachary Ty Bryan.
And last week I brought up the money issue when Veronica spent all her money to get her mom into rehab. And I was like, how does she make all this money in that year? Looking at this payoff right here. All right. Her side hustles are goated. Like this girl, this girl didn't even negotiate to 500.
No. I mean, Veronica's voiceover, she's like, I do need the money. Who's going to pay for Amelia's hotel room at $70 a night? And this girl, Sabrina's like, I'll give you $100 right now.
Yeah. And then you get 400 when you find it. It's like, it's not even like a 50-50.
Yeah.
It's not like it's 100 now, another 100 when you find them. It's like, oh, you get another 400. It's like,
I mean,
what?
Damn.
What did you could have haggled down to 3, 2.
Yeah.
You could have probably done this all for 100.
Yeah.
Also, Veronica, yeah, I guess that line is needed. She needs the money because that's the only way she should be taking on another case.
Yes.
Doing the most important thing in the world that she's doing right now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. So Veronica gets started on this case. She sees Kaz getting off the school bus and she goes up to him and she's like, Kaz, stop harassing Sabrina. And he's like, I'm not. She's like, okay, but we all know that it's you. And he's like, I'm not. I love Sabrina. I would jump off a roof for that girl.
Can't wait for that to pay off.
I would jump off a roof for that girl. If you find whoever's harassing her, tell me first, because I want to beat the snot out of him. And he gets in his car and he drives off. And Veronica's like,
How much time do you think has passed since the dance that happened 2 episodes ago where Meg thought that Kaz had a crush on her, but now this guy has already dated and broken up with Sabrina?
Well, I don't know, because I thought that the dance that was happening, the 80s dance, was a spring dance.
And
now she's saying it's midterms.
Well, yeah.
So, I don't know. Timeline's all fucked.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then Veronica, she goes over to Amelia's hotel room and she's like, oh wait, no, she doesn't. She's at the Mars office. Yeah, she's preparing her case to present to Amelia to prove that Abel is actually innocent, and this was like a big payoff situation.
I love the folders with everyone's name just on her desktop.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Veronica.
Yeah. You didn't compile those into one folder that you could open up.
Yeah.
One extra click.
It's just right on the desktop. As soon as you open up full names, it's like, maybe guilty of murder.
Yeah. Then they get a phone call and Veronica answers it, and this person's asking for Keith, but Keith is busy with a client who wants Keith to hire an escort to catch her husband cheating because she wants to divorce him and nullify the prenup.
Yeah.
And Keith is like, can't really do that because that's entrapment.
Yeah. And it's just not morally good. Yeah. And
this lady,
this is like A Long Kiss Goodnight, another movie we did on the Patreon.
Always watching movies.
Yeah.
This lady's like, you know what? If you won't do it, Keith Mars, I'll have to go to your competitor, Vinnie Van Lowe. He doesn't have such hang-ups about the law. And Keith is like, good luck with that, Vinnie Van Lowe. He's a real scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
And he will catch your husband, but then offer, it will be like, pay me double what the wife is paying, and I'll say that you didn't do anything. And she's like, well, I guess I'll just have to take my chances. So she leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica turns back around out after like talking to Keith about the phone call. And she sees that Logan is now in the office and he's on her computer and he's looking at the case files that Veronica has. And she's like, Logan! She runs over, slams it shut. And he's like, Jesus, you Mars people. Don't know how to let a case die, do you?
By the way, I need you to track down my mom again.
Yeah. Yeah. But instead, Logan's like, why are you still looking into this? Like, why is everyone that loved Lilly a suspect? And why are you investigating this? Like, don't you know that this is damaging? And Veronica's like, I'm looking into it because I loved Lilly too. And I know that Abel Koontz didn't do this. She doesn't say anything about like my dad's whole life was ruined because of this too, but
no, this is an episode where she loved Lilly, and we get flashbacks of Lilly being Lilly.
Yep.
He also revealed that she says, "Oh, you're not a suspect because you have an alibi. You were out of the country with two eyewitnesses." Now, cut back to a couple episodes ago when she's listening in on the guidance, like the school counselor, having conversations, and it seemed that Logan was really upset with Veronica about ratting him out for like kissing. Oh, I forget her name.
Yeah, Bone Hamilton's daughter.
Yeah. And then
Yolanda.
What was it?
Yolanda.
Yeah. So he says, "Oh, if we didn't break up, I probably would have been there and it wouldn't have happened."
Yeah.
But here, he was out of the country when it happened.
Well, maybe he just needed to take an out of the country trip to get over his heartbreak.
Yeah, because most teens, he's like, God, she broke up with me. All right, boys, let's go.
Shall we Italy?
Yeah, they said out of the country in not a way like, oh, you were in Tijuana, like not Mexico or that whole line when he's like, I would have been there.
Yeah.
You were literally out of the country when it happened, according to this new alibi, which seems, I don't know, seems like something you might say in the counselor scene. So that's a little bit of a retcon for me to like clear him. And then this push that he's like, is that stuff true about Duncan? Because he saw the Duncan like epilepsy stuff.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah. And Logan's like, well, good luck with that. I came here to give you a check for trying to help me find my mom. And Veronica looks at the check and she rips it up and she goes, your mom was always nice to me.
Boy, I wish
And
we could have
Logan's
seen
like,
any of that. I mean,
I wish we could have.
like, I had known so little about his mom.
Yeah. I wish we would have seen how much the check was that Logan wrote her. Like, that would have been like a big more impact if it was like $50,000 or some shit, you know?
How much would he write a check for? And why is he
Yeah, I don't
writing a
know.
check and not just giving her a bunch of cash?
Yeah. I don't know. But
I think it's probably like $1,000.
yeah, Veronica writes it or says in her voiceover, like, that was a very, noble move, but I do need money. So I am kind of regretting this.
Yeah, she ripped the check up and they have like a little moment. And I thought she was like immediately going to get some tape.
Yeah.
And try to go to the
as
bank.
soon as Logan leaves, she's like, fuck.
Yeah. And then she just puts on her school girl, like something that makes her look really young and a giant lollipop and goes to the bank. I don't know what happened.
This could have sent your mom to rehab for a couple more days, probably.
And it's like a little bit before you could do like the banking, like wireless, like the take a photo of the check kind of thing. Yeah.
Excellent technological advancement.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love that. Not that I get many checks anymore.
No, I wrote a check recently for something. And boy, I had not written a check in a while.
Right, dude?
I was like, I
It's
blow the
so
dust
weird.
off that checkbook. Like,
Is there expiration dates on these checks?
I was like, I got a bunch of them.
I got like forever stamps like 7 years ago. I still have a couple of them. Like, is he still good?
Yeah, they're forever.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's what they said when I bought them. So Amelia's in her hotel room and Veronica's there with her. They're watching some movie and Veronica's like, is this a pay-per-view movie? And Veronica's sweating all the bills that she's doing.
Wasn't that Logan's dad in the movie? It looked like it was Harry Hamlin in it.
I don't know. I wasn't paying that close. It looked like one of those old-timey like claymation stop motion movies.
Yeah, like Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like a Spartacus type thing or something like that. But it looked like Harry Hamlin was in it. I couldn't tell fully and I didn't dive deep, but
I'll have to rewatch.
I think it was like one of his old movies. Like one of his real life old movies, not like in.
Yeah, not Aaron Eccles.
Yeah.
But Veronica's laying out the evidence that Abel's innocent, and she says that all three of the Kanes have falsified their alibis. Jake Kane cheated Abel. Amelia says that Jake Kane cheated Abel out of like the patent for the video streaming, and that upset Abel, and Abel's career was ruined, and he was like really annoyed by that and devastated. And Jake Kane didn't like pay him out correctly, and so he like locked himself in a room for 3 days or whatever. And his mom he was like, I'm gonna make some other new technological advancement. And he started working on that. And then Amelia's mom came into the room and spilled her coffee all over his work. And he backhanded her. And she was like, how dare you? And she divorced him and took Amelia with her. And Amelia's like, but why did he take this payout? Why is he giving me the money? And Veronica's like, maybe that's his way of saying sorry. And I have to say, the music that's playing in this scene.
Gosh, what was this?
It was like weird, like Disney cinematic swells or something. I was like, what the fuck? This music does not match at all.
I couldn't tell what I was supposed to feel based off the music, based off what's happening in the overarching story, and what Amelia's saying.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's like she's like having this like fond memory of her dad, but then it was like him hitting the mom and then moving away. And I'm like, you should, if someone was like, hey, your dad's being framed for murder, she should be like, well, I don't give a fuck. He's a bad guy. Anyway, like I'm really confused why they painted. It seems like they wanted to paint him like he did have a violent streak.
Yeah.
But she showed her the shoes and stuff, the shoes that don't add up. And you're like, okay, this is obviously like some type of frame job. and cover up, but why is her memory this?
Yeah, and why is she so down to help Veronica prove his innocence if he's a bad guy?
Like, of all the memories, I don't understand why not have her have a loving memory of her dad. And she was like, I always didn't think he did it or something. Like, kind of Mary Koontz to Keith's struggle, you know?
Yeah. Or even with the backhand thing, even you can even paint it as he was really going through it and in a moment of weakness or whatever. But I don't know.
But you're never going to get on the side of a guy that's doing domestic abuse with the wife, and then that leads to divorce and moving away.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to figure out how she could have did it.
That is a good point you asked earlier, if the name change happened because of the murder or because of moving away.
The divorce. Yeah.
Now, to do the name change, she would absolutely have to hate her dad if it was before the murder. Absolutely hate her dad, and the dad was stalkery.
Yeah.
Right? And you didn't want to be found, even though it was really easy to find you. All you had to do was just Google, and it was they had your name.
Go to privateeyeswithaz.com.
They had the name change and said it was the daughter. I don't know. But I don't understand what the story does. This is why I was thinking that Amelia was still a bad guy at this point or something. Because I was like, this story and her being so casual about being locked in a motel room that's being paid for by this random person that showed up. I don't know.
But I'm so glad that you also noticed the music in this scene.
Insane.
It made no sense. It was this weird, kind of uplifting music. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what's going on with this?
It's just a fond memory she had of her dad backhanding her mom. And Veronica's like, maybe the money is to say sorry?
Yeah.
Wait, he's giving you money to say sorry he hit your mom that one time? What?
Yeah. Yeah, well, whatever.
What in the Walter White is that going on?
So Veronica then, she's heading over to Sabrina's house.
Because you gotta stay busy.
Yep. She needs that money. Needs that money to pay for Amelia's hotel room and all the movies she's getting on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And she notices a yellow truck passing by as she's going in. She looks at that yellow truck and she's like, interesting. She goes into Sabrina's house and Sabrina's being quizzed by her mom. And because Sabrina's an academic stalwart.
Mm-hmm.
She is fucking incredible. She's so smart.
She's going to wild out in college. She is going to go crazy in college. It's going to be...
Yes.
Yeah.
And Veronica shows up and the mom is like, hello, Veronica. And Sabrina's like, oh, don't worry about this lady. I'm tutoring her. So the mom goes away. Veronica's like, hey, I investigated Kaz and he denies what's going on. He didn't do it. And I don't think he did it. And Sabrina's like, well, then who the hell else could do it? And she gets a phone call and it's one of the sex operator phone ad things. And Veronica answers and she's like, hello, Nestor, whatever your last name is. I know that you're blah, blah, blah. She thwarts that. And then she notices.
Did that person call on the house phone, the home phone number?
Yeah. Yeah. Seems like
it. It'll get bigger later, but why are the parents not upset about all this? The stuff that's happening to Sabrina is happening to the house.
Maybe it's not the house phone then.
It looked like it was. It was on that desk. It wasn't. It didn't look like a cell phone.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't the house phone, the parents would still be upset
Especially
about it.
The thing that happens later. It's no way it affects just Sabrina and not the parents.
Yeah.
Or at least the mom.
Right.
We don't see the dad, but
You're right. But Sabrina's like, see, Veronica, everything, there's always something happening. It happens every night. And Veronica is looking outside. And she notices that yellow truck driving around again. And Veronica's like, hey, do you know anybody with that yellow truck? And Sabrina's like, no. And then Veronica sees a baby stroller. And she's like, can I use that baby stroller really quick? And Sabrina's like, sure, knock yourself out.
Do they have A sister or baby? Like, why is there a baby stroller?
Well, it's also not like a new stroller. It's like an old-timey, like 1940s
It
stroller.
looks like something from Addams Family.
Yes.
It's an Addams Family or Beetlejuice level. It's a Tim Burton baby stroller. They're like, this thing is worth $100,000. You want to roll it into the street?
And that's exactly what Veronica does. She rolls it into the street in front of the yellow truck as it's driving by again. And as the yellow truck stops, Veronica jumps out and goes like, aha, with a flashlight. And she shines the flashlight in the driver's seat. And who's there but Kaz? Zachary Ty Bryan.
Kaz Truman.
And Veronica's like, I knew it was you. And Sabrina's like, I knew it was you. And Kaz is like, it's not me. Veronica told me that somebody was harassing you, and I was going to fucking drive around until I saw somebody harassing you, and I was going to find him. I was going to beat the snot out of him. And Sabrina's like, no, dude, I know it's you. And he's like, it is not me. Trust me. I would jump off a roof for you, Sabrina.
Can't wait for that payoff.
I was like, why is this the callback? What's going on here?
Spoiler alert, no payoff for this.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah,
I don't know.
And Sabrina's like, I don't know, I don't buy it. And Veronica's like, no, I kind of buy it. And Sabrina's like, how can we prove it? And then Veronica's like, tell Kaz to jump off a roof. I'm like, damn, that's pretty fucking rude. But then we get a knock or a doorbell ring at Sabrina's house. And like 5 people show up and they're all dressed all crazy. And they're like, hey, what's up? We're here to do the party. We're here for the party. And Veronica's like, there's no party here today, dude. You might have the wrong house. And they're like, we think you've got the wrong house. And then they give Veronica a flyer, one of the Neptune's famous flyered parties.
Mm-hmm.
And Veronica looks at it and she's like, oh, well, it is at this address. And she's like, where did you get this flyer? And they're like, we got it outside of, I forget the name of the bar. But they're like, we got it outside of Shady Rays or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Shady Rays, the sunglass guy. always throwing raves.
Yes. So Veronica's like, all right, well, I'm going to go hit the street. I'm going to go check out Shady Rays and see who's giving out these flyers. Then we cut to Veronica going to a...
Yeah, because we get VO from Veronica. And she says, yeah, I went there. It was nothing.
Yeah. If she's at Amelia's hotel room, she's like, yeah, that was a dead end.
And she's got a giant bag of food and snacks and stuff.
Yeah, she must have went to Costco.
Like, Amelia can't even leave to go to the store.
Mm-mm.
She's in hiding.
It's too risky.
And just completely fine. Just completely casual. She's just like, yep, I'm just going to be locked in this hotel room.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like her dorm.
Yeah, just like my dorm. But I got to let my boyfriend know because he'll have a conniption fit.
Yeah, he'll call the National Guard to try and find me.
Yeah. My mom, probably not.
Yeah, she doesn't even know who I am.
And we all know where my dad is.
So yeah, Veronica's at Amelia's hotel room. She gives her a bunch of snacks and food. And Amelia's like, hey, can you do me a favor? And Veronica's like, yeah, sure. What's that?
No, I don't do favors for people. People do favors for me.
Exactly. And she's like, can you arrange a meeting for me and my dad? And Veronica's like, it might take a couple days, but I think I can do that. And Veronica's voiceover is like, just enough time for me to get what I need. Because I forgot to mention this. Veronica asks, or Amelia reveals that the mom has all of the paperwork from the payoff with the stock transfer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Veronica was like, can you get your mom to make a copy of those and send them to me?
Yeah.
So that's why Veronica's like, it'll take a couple days for me to get you in front of Abel Koontz. And her voiceover's like, just in time, enough time for me to get those papers to prove that he's innocent.
Yeah, because she's like, I got to get what I need out of this.
Yeah.
Fuck your feelings about your dad being in jail.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like, I mean, I know the lawyer sucks, but I feel like they have some evidence to bring forth to like try to like get an appeal, but he won't take an appeal.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens if they get the paperwork, how this changes anything.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to prove that they were, like, it would be hard to say, oh, wow, this employee got stock benefits. Like, who would you bring that to the news? Like, would you bring that to the media? Because you can't bring it to, like, I don't know what the plan would be.
Even if Abel Koontz is denying an appeal, if you just show up with evidence that he's innocent, like, does he still get the death penalty?
Yeah,
like
because you have to like appeal it, so that, and then it'll have to like go back through. Like, being on death row doesn't automatically mean you're dying like in a certain state. Like, you can be on death row for years.
Yeah.
But you have to open up the case again, which people don't like to do. Judges hate to do that, Like, there's so much of a backlog. No one wants to like go back into stuff.
Yeah.
But like, the only person that could really force the hand would be the billionaire whose daughter died.
Yeah.
Who could pull some strings and be like, hey, we need to open this. I don't think he did it. And then you would have to really present some compelling evidence to the state. I don't know exactly how that works. I only play a lawyer on podcasts.
I'm also sure that Jake would like pay off a judge because he's like billionaire guy. I don't know, man. It just all seems.
But really... I just don't understand. I just don't know how getting this would prove to Veronica maybe more. But I mean, she doesn't even need this proof. Like, she already has it. Like, how do they legally go forward? Like,
yes,
yeah.
But yeah, Amelia asks Veronica to arrange a meeting with Amelia and Abel Koontz. So then we go to the Mars Investigations office. Mm-hmm. Keith is telling Veronica to get ready for her Scholastic Excellence meeting, which is at the Kane's household.
And before we go further in this scene, I just don't, if you're Keith and you think that Jake Kane is a murderer, mm-hmm. why would you ever let your daughter go to an event that he is at? Not only is he a murderer, he's a murderer who got away with it.
Also, he saw Veronica confronting Jake at the Christmas party and was like, uh-oh.
Now,
Christmas party where a dude got stabbed.
Yeah. I don't have a kid. But it's no way I'm like, hey, shouldn't you be getting ready to go over to your murdered friend's house where the murderer still resides? What? What, Keith? If anything, Keith would be like, you really don't need to go to why is she even going?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's not in the running.
Was that smart like that.
She's not in the running. The only time she studied was when she was sitting at Sabrina's house.
Yeah.
Apparently
she barely did.
Because Sabrina's speaking like, what, French or Italian or whatever.
I think it's Italian.
Italian, yeah. And then I was like, Veronica had a look on her face of like, oh, they're doing Italian. And my first note was going to be like, well, you speak Spanish, Veronica. And then Veronica comes over. She's like, well, you missed this word. And I'm like, wait, so she's like a polyglot? She speaks multiple languages too? Doesn't know sports betting, but she speaks multiple languages. Can play video games.
Knows how to play video games, yeah. Yeah. Can sing karaoke like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Go, Veronica, go.
So yeah,
Keith, come on, man. You can't just be like, get ready to go over to that place.
And he's like adamant. He's like pointing his finger in her face. You get ready for that Scholastic Excellence meeting.
Yeah, I don't like that murderer, but we got to get his scholarship money.
Yep.
Like, what the
Which
fuck,
you're definitely not going to get.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, let's say Veronica becomes the valedictorian. Then the guy who Veronica's dad investigated and publicly was like, he's a murderer, has to then pay for that guy's daughter's college, full ride? That's crazy.
Also, they're juniors.
Yeah. Well, they have to get prepared they need to see what it's going to be like next year.
They're already accepted into college. Are they a year above? Are Sabrina and Hamilton a year above?
Yes, because they have seniors and juniors at this scholastic party.
Okay, yeah, because I saw Duncan there, but
yeah,
Duncan lives there.
And Jake makes a joke. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think Duncan's going to be fine.
Yeah, Duncan's great. Unless
Veronica, you don't send your daughter to that. It's insane to me. Insane.
But after that, a new character shows up, and I could not have been happier about this. Vinnie Van Lowe shows up, Keith Mars's rival private detective. And who is Vinnie Van Lowe played by? Ken Marino. Ken Marino is one of my favorite comedic actors out there.
Really? Wow.
I fucking love Ken Marino. Something about him, he's got some kind of comedic riz with me that I just love watching him do shit.
Oh, he's great. He's great in the reality show, the parody of Burning Love. That was like The Bachelor.
He's great in that movie, The 10, that we've talked about previously.
Yep. I've not seen The 10, but I know of it. Yep.
It's great. He was in Party Down, another Party Down person in this.
And he's also in Angel.
Yes, he was an Angel.
Yes.
Yes. And a host of other things.
Yes.
I mean, Ken Marino is he's one of those guys that, you see him and you know him.
When he shows up, he's great though. He's always a scene stealer. You know what he has? He has this ability to be likable and make you feel for him, but also be really funny. Like it's not just silly. And here he's having a blast too. It's a great contrast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he shows up and he's everything that Keith painted him out to be. He is like a low-life, scammy kind of guy. He's kind of a creep. And he's like, Keith, it was so good to see you, man. Like, what's going on? Thanks for sending me that lady. I didn't know that we're doing referrals, man. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. And Keith is like, yeah, that lady is a real piece of work. And Vinny's like, yeah, you know what? In the spirit of referrals, I've got way too many clients right now. I'm doing well as a private investigator. Maybe I could send some of my cases your way that are aren't sketchy, because it seems like you're the law. So maybe I could send a couple of my cases your way. And Keith is like, no thanks, Vinny. And Vinny's like, come on, man, I want to work with you. Let's do this. And Keith's like, no. And he's like, well, if you change your mind, here's my card. Throws it on the desk and he walks out. I think he also talks about his rate, and his rate seems like it's double Keith's rate.
Yeah, he says I have 10 cases at $500 a day.
Yeah. And Keith's rate is $250 a day.
Yes. And now I understand why Keith gets hired at all. People trying to save a couple bucks. Except for when interesting that that Sabrina knows that it's $500. She knows that's the going rate. Yeah. And I really at this moment was like, Veronica's going to start working with Van Lowe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope she does. I hope I hope this is not a one-off.
Yeah, I think he's going to be around for a bit. And it's nice that he finally, I needed this. I needed the introduction of there has to be another private eye in town.
Yeah. I fucking love Ken Marino.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Veronica, she shows up to Kane's house for the dinner, the Scholastic Excellence dinner. And Jake and Celeste answer the door and they're like, oh, Veronica, didn't know you,
Didn't know you could read.
Well, and Veronica's like, yeah, I'm here. And they're like, well, come on in. You're late. Everybody's already here. So Veronica's walking around. She sees. And at this point is when I was confused. Because based on our introduction to Hamilton Cho, I would have thought that he was a ne'er-do-well, like, not smart guy. But Hamilton Cho is here. And, like, because in the classroom scene where he's with Dick Casablancas.
Well, he's sitting behind him, and it is a by association dumbness because he's sitting behind him.
Okay. Well, he also, like, he's got, like, a leather jacket and stuff. Like, he doesn't look like, your typical smart kid. You know what I mean?
That's why you don't judge a book by its cover, dude.
Okay, sure. Okay.
I mean, I was like, okay, they're making the Asian kid the super smart one, too, thing.
Racism.
But I was like, all right, but they're not, like, treating them. I don't know. They do some interesting stuff, but, like, that's a typical, like, oh, the Indian kid's smart, the Asian kid's smart, that kind of thing.
But yeah, Hamilton's there, Sabrina's there, Duncan's there, obviously, and Veronica's there. And she's looking around, and then she looks over a little bit more, and she sees Jake and Celeste Kane arguing, like, at each other's throats in the other room. Like, gesturing wildly, like, what do you want me to do?
We need this fight to look big so that when people see it, they know that it's a fight.
Yeah. And Veronica's like, And then Veronica has an imagined flashback of, she's like, oh, I see these Kanes, they've got tempers. Maybe Celeste finally got called out for something. And it's Lilly by the pool, and Celeste shows up, and Celeste is like, I have to tell Duncan to stop seeing Veronica. And Lily's like, why did Veronica find out? Or are you worried that Veronica found out that that's like your stepdaughter or something? And then Celeste slaps Lilly, and Lilly slaps Celeste. And then Celeste pushes Lilly, and she falls, and she bangs her head on something.
No, she slaps her with, like, something hard, and it hits her. It's a big straight slap fight, because Lilly calls out Veronica being the stepsister, and like, well, I think Duncan already went a step too far, and then just slap, and then Celeste hits her with, like, something hard.
Okay.
And I was like
a vase or something.
I don't know what it was. It wasn't something that shatters.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, that's one way it could have gone down, I guess.
Yeah.
Lily's not painted in the slap fighting of this is so funny.
Yeah.
Like, you think that's what happened?
Could be. But yeah, these imagined flashbacks, they further provide Lilly needed to be taken out. I mean, she's a problem.
Because we get another one. We get another fake flashback.
We get a couple. We get a couple more.
We get one right here, though.
Well, we have Jake Kane. We go back to present day, and Jake Kane's announcing, like, well, whoever becomes valedictorian, they get a full ride scholarship to whatever college they want on my dime. And you juniors, you take note, because regardless, I'm going to be sending one full ride anyway. And slaps Duncan on the back, and Duncan's like, Dad. So then Veronica's like, doesn't seem like Jake Kane could be a murderer, but who knows? Maybe Lilly pushed him too far. And we get another imagined flashback to Lilly on top of Weevil, just like riding his dick.
Well, he's got pants on, which was really crazy.
Yeah. And she's got pants on.
Yeah.
Well, she's got shorts on.
Yeah. Jake Kane goes, what are you doing? Having sex with my daughter right in front?
Like, yeah. Dude, like the look on his face, like his angry face was so funny. What are you doing? He grabs Weevil and he pushes him, and then they get into a fight, and then Jake accidentally like hits Lilly, and Lilly falls and bangs her head on like an end table, and it breaks her neck and she dies. And then Jake's like, oh shit.
Well, then Jake like grabs Weevil by the throat and goes like, if you say anything, you'll take the fall. And he threatens the Weevil. And I'm like, how's Weevil getting roped into this? Come on, Veronica's like, well, Weevil had to be here. And then obviously Jake Kane killed Lilly and then made Weevil promise not to say anything. And if we know Weevil, he keeps his mouth shut.
He's a man of his word.
Right. Weevil would have tried to kill Jake Kane.
Yeah.
If that happened.
He would have gotten his whole motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
They would have said, Jake Kane, meet us at the beach. Flagpole, 4 o'clock.
They've been circling around his mansion. But that was just so funny.
Yeah. I mean, Jake's anger was so funny to me. He was just like, ooh.
Yeah. And I'm like, Logan was banging her, right?
Right? Yeah, dude. But he's okay with that because Logan's the son of a multimillionaire, but Weevil's just some dirt gutter kid or whatever.
Yeah. That's how Veronica sees it, though. That's Veronica's mind. That's not that we don't know what's in the hearts of Jake.
No, but we do get Veronica coming back, and we're in.
Jeez, I'm just looking at.
We're in present day now, and now Veronica must be off of her meds too, because she hears Lily's voice as like everybody's going into the dining room for a dinner. And she sees a vision of Lily running to the pool. And she's like, come follow me, Veronica. And so Veronica goes and follows her. She's sitting in the lounge chair by the pool. And Veronica's like, what are you trying to tell me, Lily? What are you trying to tell me? And Lily's like, hey, dingus. Hey, dummy. Just trying to investigate this dipshit. And then Veronica's like, well, if it's not any of the people that I imagined killed you, who could it be? And then Lily kind of like gestures to Veronica, and then Duncan interrupts.
Well, here's the thing now. So we've seen Vision Lily twice in the series, where people that are really seeing or interacting with her. And one was when she came, the first time she came to Duncan,
who was off of his meds that episode.
Yes.
That was like a symptom of him not being on his, like going cold turkey off of his antidepressants.
But he was going off his antidepressants that made him like completely robotic. So now he was actually like remembering stuff. And she's like talking to him like, hey man, you know what really happened? Why can't you remember? So maybe I didn't get a hint there that she was like, hey, you killed me, remember? Like it wasn't. From what I know about Lily, if she's coming to confront Duncan who killed her, that's not the way she would do it.
Yep.
Now, here, this is interesting because what is Veronica actually seeing? Does this actually happen? Like she just had 2 fantasies and then a hallucination?
Yeah, dude. I mean, is this where we take a trip to the spiritual realm? Like,
like this is you can get away with the drug hallucination for Duncan. This one's a little bit more.
Yeah, this is a tough pill to swallow.
Has she seen dead Lily in another episode before? I think there might have been one.
But
most of it's been flashbacks. Remember.
Most of it's maybe like, in a dream.
Yeah, she woke up or something. Yeah. It wasn't like a waking nightmare.
Yeah. Like she's walking around like, Lily. And Lily's like, come follow me.
We're going to get that. I mean,
Lily,
that's what this is.
If you're here, ring a bell. Ring-a-ding-ding.
Because, I mean, if I'm the parents and if I see Veronica out by the pool where my daughter died, and then if I also see her with Duncan there, this dinner's over, man. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah.
She ain't getting that scholarship.
But
no matter how smart she is.
Oh, man. But yeah, so Lily is very vague, and then we get creepy Duncan sidling up next to Veronica, giving off serious serial killer vibes here.
Yeah.
This is the first time I understood who Duncan is.
Yeah. Because he's like, what are you doing out here, Veronica? Who are you trying to hide from? And Veronica's like, what? So and he's like, yeah, sometimes I come out here too. I had a hard time for a little bit, just imagining Lily's right there hanging out. But then I came to grips with it. Now I find a deep peace, imagining like she's dead. But when I come out here, it's like she's here with me, and it's great. And Veronica's like, okay, dude.
That's my
He's like,
brother.
why don't you come back inside?
That's my brother, lover.
Why don't you come back inside? We don't bite unless you want that.
Yeah, it's weird, man. And I feel like this is like leading, it's kind of throwing, it wants us to think maybe he could do it, this episode, but I don't believe he did.
She's laid out like every suspect, and now I'm like, who the fuck could it be? Because she's imagined, like, I just cut out everybody.
We have to wait till we get to my prediction at the end of the episode.
Okay, all right, I'm curious. Because, like, I went in with this, every flashback that she had is wrong.
Oh, absolutely. It's no way that's what went down.
Yeah. And, like, this is, like, leading too heavily to Duncan doing it. Like, all of the evidence right now is pointing to Duncan, which, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But like it's just too pointy towards Duncan for it to be Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some kind of twist.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Veronica goes back inside to be murdered by the Kanes.
I hope it turns out that they are a cult and they do sacrifices and it was time. And then it turns out they're going to have to try to sacrifice Veronica, and then Keith jumps in and saves the day because he was hiding in one of the robes during the ceremony.
Yeah, it's like that movie Ready or Not or whatever.
Yeah.
Like whoever's the valedictorian.
Yeah.
They get hunted. And if you survive the night, you get a full ride to Oxford or whatever.
He's been giving full rides to girls, only girls. No guys ever get it. Look at the track record. It's like, and they all disappear. He never has to pay. I mean, why not, man? Why not? Just go.
That's a real fucking real hard target. You want to hear a story like that?
Yeah.
Check out Movie Wars podcast. But so we go to school the next day and Sabrina's crying and Veronica goes up to her and she's like, what's wrong? Sabrina's like, I got an 86 on the AP bio test and it dropped my GPA by 0.1 points. And now I no longer have the top GPA and I'm no longer in the running to be the valedictorian. And then Veronica's like, well, then who is? And she goes, him. And Sabrina points to Hamilton Cho. And Veronica's like, Hamilton Cho, eh?
Who's like at a chalkboard, Goodwill Hunting style. Beautiful mind. Solving equations. Not really, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just like at a lunch table eating a sandwich.
Minding its own business.
Yeah. So Veronica's like, time to investigate Hamilton Cho because he's got motive.
Yeah, it seems like Sabrina's doing a lot of Veronica's work.
Right? That's why, Sabrina's pissed at Veronica the other time. When are you going to fucking help me? I paid you $100. So Veronica goes to the Cho's pizza shop.
I did like this. I did like that they don't run a Chinese food restaurant. They run a pizza shop.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a twist. So
she goes to Cho's pizza shop and Hamilton's there and he's like the counter boy and delivery boy and he's just a jack of all trades.
Counter boy? Is that what you...
Cashier.
I was like, Jesus.
Counter boy.
Hey, counter boy, give me my change. Jeez, Joe. Fucking, you and your old Niners vibe.
Hey, counter boy.
Counter boy, give me... Counter boy, go talk to the stock boy and find out where the other boys.
I mean, is it that far off? It's fucking there's stock boy, there's the delivery boy.
Counter boy just sounds so dismissive.
But Veronica goes up and Hamilton's like, oh, is your first time here? Like, this is crazy. And she's like, yeah, I guess I just, never been to Cho's Pizza. wouldn't trust the Chos to make good pizza for some reason.
I honestly trust their pizza more than whatever they ate in that police station with Leo.
Right, dude? That carnival-looking ass pizza.
I will say this pizza shop looks nice. It looks
It
like
does. It looks like a good pizza
place. Yeah.
So Veronica's like, so I heard that you're a super smart guy. You already got into Oxford. And he's like, yeah, I did. But like, who gives a fuck? I can't afford it. The only way I could ever afford it is like if I somehow get that Jake Kane scholarship. And Veronica's like, well, it just so happens that I heard that you're in the prime running for that. And he's like, oh yeah, who was top before me? And she's like, Sabrina. And he's like, ugh, that fucking bitch. I hate her. And Veronica's like, oh, so you hate her, huh? And he's like, yeah, doesn't everybody? Like, she's a fucking asshole. Like, I thought that everybody hated her.
Well, it's more
her
like
mom is this.
Yeah, he's talking about
He's
her
like,
mom
her mom is the school board president. She gets all these trips to go to places. She gets extensions on her exams. Like, she gets whatever she wants. Like, I don't get that. Like, I work at a pizza shop. I have to work hard for what I want. But this girl gets handed everything to her.
Is Jane Lynch the school board president?
No, she was the head of the student council.
Okay.
School board, that's like a different thing.
Okay.
But
is that the lady that let Mr. Rooks off the hook for a minute? Is that the lady that was mediating that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that actually would be where Sabrina's mom would hang out.
But that wasn't her. Like, I didn't recognize her mom from what I've seen. And I didn't recognize her from the show. You know? Yeah.
But Veronica, she gets her pizza and she's walking away and Hamilton has to go deliver her pizza. And Veronica's like, yeah, you know what? Hamilton's got some points. He does have to work hard, and I feel kind of bad for him, but it didn't stop me from putting a tracker on his car, so I'm going to investigate him still.
I am getting paid. I felt really bad when my dad... I felt really bad when my dad ruined this guy who was embezzling money from his company because he didn't have bonuses, but ruining this kid's chances to get out of this pizza shop and go to Oxford? All right, for $400, I'll do it. For $500? Yeah. This guy who needs this scholarship.
Yeah.
Way more, because the other girl can go to any school she wants. Like, money won't be an issue. And her being 0.1% below, not actually going to stop anything. But stopping this guy from getting a scholarship to go to Oxford of all places, like overseas college. Yeah.
And
Veronica, stop trying to do anything. Just let it happen.
This is another reason why I thought the Dick Casablancas scene was confusing, is because this guy is very obviously not an 09er. Like, he works at a pizza shop, and like it's shown that like he's working and his family isn't like rich, but like it seems like he and Dick Casablancas are like buddy.
No, they're just sitting next to each other for the shot. It's by association because they don't actually talk to each other in that scene.
They do.
He does.
Like, Dick Casablancas like turns back to him, and they're like snickering with each other about how much of an asshole Sabrina is. Like, they're joking with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely dressed like he's like just one of the guys. Like, he's not dressed like a third party. Yeah. But
yeah,
it's tricky. We'll talk more about this once we get to the
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, we will talk about it because this whole scholarship situation makes a little bit of not a lot of sense.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Hey there, travelers. Kaylee Cuoco here. Sorry to interrupt your music, great artist BT Dubs, but wouldn't you rather be there to hear it live? With Priceline, you can get out of your dreams and into your dream concert. They've got millions of travel deals to get you to that festival, gig, rave, sound bath, or sonic experience you've been dreaming of. Download the Priceline app today, and you can save up to 60% off hotels and up to 50% off flights. So don't just dream about that trip. Book it with Priceline.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
So we go to the Mars home, and someone's trying to break into the home. See the handle, the door handle, like wiggling. And then Keith is there in his robe, and he goes and he sees this happening and just opens the door.
Have we ever seen Keith in a robe?
I don't think so.
Okay. I didn't think he walked around his apartment in a robe, but sure.
Me neither, and I don't think I ever want to see it again.
Yeah.
But he opens the door, and who's at the door but our Dick Tracy villain, Clarence Wiedman, in his trilby and his trench coat.
How come he can't just break through a door? Like, he's not a good... Like, he's fussing with that handle, man.
Oh, yeah, he is. And also, I feel like Keith would have, like, some kind of really triple lock situation.
Gotta have a deadbolt. It does not look like it's one there. And also, I've seen Veronica break into people's places. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But Keith swings open the door and is like, Clarence, what are you doing here, buddy? And Wiedman's like, I'm looking for somebody. Mm-hmm. Keith's like, well, come on in. Let me make you some coffee. There's no need to break into my house. Why don't you come on in? And so Clarence is there and he's like, I'm looking for this girl. Have you seen her? And he shows Keith a picture of Amelia DeLongpre.
To your point, when he goes to the college and he asks, are you Amelia? Right? Does he ask that when he sees the girl?
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I think he actually is like Amelia. And she's like, I'm not Amelia.
Yet now he has a photo. He didn't think to get a photo before he traveled to Los Angeles. But now that he's back in Neptune, he has a photo for Keith. Good point, Joe.
He was probably like, I'm not going to get fooled. Caught with my pants down again. I got to print a picture of this lady.
He's like, assistant, did you get the photo yet?
Yeah. I don't think Wiedman's a very good PI guy.
I've been knocking on doors all day, just accosting women, asking them if they're Amelia.
But he's like, have you seen this girl? Her name is Amelia DeLongpre. He's like, nope. Don't know who that is. Bye.
Yeah.
Clarence Wiedman's like, oh, really? Because I thought that she might be here. And he's like, go ahead and look around if you want, man. I got a 2-bedroom apartment. Go ahead. And Clarence is like, drats. Yeah. All right, I guess I'm leaving. He's like, all right, say it. Bye. What the fuck?
If you're Clarence Wiedman, you do like take a peek in the bag, though.
Yeah, why don't you? You made it already there.
Be thorough.
Yes.
And did you not scout the place out to make sure Keith wasn't home? Like, what are you doing?
Terrible head of security.
Just
like,
terrible.
This guy is terrible at this.
They're almost never home. And the one time you break in is when,
like they're constantly taking trips to like San Diego. All these, like half the episode, Veronica's in LA.
You don't have someone tailing Veronica's car? You just have like a fake bug in her like room? What do you?
He's a one-man crew.
You're head of security for a $1 billion company. What?
Yeah.
And he's doing all the legwork himself.
Yeah. And he's dressed like evil Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like Bizarro Inspector Gadget.
He's like the guy in what's the Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes.
Yeah.
The villain in Dude, yes.
Yeah.
That is exactly what he's dressed like.
Mm-hmm.
That movie freaked me out.
I love that movie. It's so good.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but it freaked me out when I was a little kid.
I thought
especially
just
that guy.
like this. Great stuff.
Went on the ride recently. Good times. Anywho, so Clarence leaves, and then we get a skip forward in time, and Veronica's, she's coming back home. She's got Backup, who we haven't seen in forever.
Backup 2.
Yeah, Backup's Backup.
Yeah, we haven't seen Backup in a while.
Yeah, Backup the Inferior. And Keith is sitting there in his chair, And he's like, hey, Veronica, guess who showed up here today? And Veronica's like, if you say Josh Hartnett, I'm going to be so bummed. And he's like, no. Clarence Wiedman. He's the head of security at Kane Software. You know anything about that? And Veronica's like, oh, no. He's like, cut the crap, dude. I know that you've been looking into the Lilly Kane case. Like, I told you not to do it, but now we've got this guy sniffing around. You're not being careful enough. If you're going to keep doing this, you have to be more careful. You have to promise me that you're going to be more careful. And Veronica's like, okay, I will. And he's like, good. And all right, we're playing a whole new game because this Clarence Wiedman guy, he's no joke. He could not break into our apartment. He did not look around when I told him to look around. He is.
I don't know about the photos that he took that made my wife go away.
But this guy, he's serious business. Do you see how he's dressed? Have you seen how this guy dresses? He is spiffy.
Yeah.
So here is some evidence. We're going to work together on this. We're 17 episodes in. Let's just fucking cut the crap.
Even though we had this exact scene where we sat on the couch and laid everything out. But guess what? I haven't told you everything. And even in this scene, I will not have told you everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Keith is like, I know that he's looking for this Amelia DeLongpre girl. Do you know where she is? Veronica's like, yup. And she's the one getting the payoff. And Keith is like, okay. And she's like, well, why is he getting paid off? And like, Veronica's like, did you know about Abel Koontz's? And Keith goes, stomach cancer. Yeah, I knew about it. And Veronica's like, oh, okay.
Wait, you didn't have to break in to a doctor's office and steal his medical records?
Yeah, and then Keith says, like, when he was the first person on the scene at the initial crime scene, he noticed that the body temperature of Lilly did not match the timeline at all. And he thinks that Jake called Clarence to do a cover-up after he discovered Lily's body.
Yeah.
And she's like, huh, okay.
Keith also brings up that you think that Amelia's going to trade 3 months, like Abel has 3 months to live. You think she's going to trade that for $3 million?
Mm-hmm.
So we know how much they're getting paid.
Yeah.
Light work for the cover up.
Yeah.
Got to at least be 10.
Right? If you're a billionaire?
Also, from the story I heard, Abel Koontz doesn't like Jake Kane because he stole his idea.
Yes.
Take him for more money to get him out of this jam if you really need to do it.
Yeah, dude. But then we have a scene after Veronica and Keith have this like exchanging of information. We have a scene of Veronica like doing more reading about like Clarence Wiedman and stuff. And she's like, this guy's ex-FBI. He's ex-CIA. He's ex-military ops and all this stuff.
And we get a Mission Impossible style montage of Clarence Wiedman dropping down by wires, hanging off by planes. That'd be awesome.
He's basically Riley from Buffy. He's in the initiative.
He's surfing with a machine gun.
Yeah. But then now Veronica has an imagined flashback of Lily's death and how Jake discovered Lily's body, and he calls Clarence. He's like, Clarence, I need your help. And then Wiedman shows up with bags of ice, and he's like, we got to do the cover up.
A bag of ice that you would get from like a 7-Eleven.
Well, he's got more ice in the trunk. He tells Jake to grab some.
This is hilarious. Like, he just has it over his shoulder and he's standing in the doorway. We don't have a lot of time. I was like,
we need to get your story straight. But yes, this is Veronica's like imagined flashback. But Veronica's actually, she's staking out Cho's Pizza. She's spying on Hamilton Cho to be like, hey, this guy could be the one that's fucking with Sabrina. But Veronica's like, well, he's been at the pizza shop all night. She calls Sabrina. She's like, hey, it's definitely not Hamilton Cho. Because Sabrina's like, well, yeah, of course it's not him because there's a car alarm going off outside my house and I can't sleep. And every time that I go outside to do something and say something about it and see who it is, the car alarm goes off. So I don't know what the fuck's going on here and you're not helping me. And to your point earlier, this would be annoying the parents as well.
Yes, it's it's not like she lives by herself. She lives in the house with her parents. When the partiers come over to the house, that would bother the parents. When the people are calling her phone or her house phone or whatever, that would bother the parents if they're getting all these like calls from strangers looking for some action. Yeah. You're
absolutely right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I'm just like, why? Like, she's like, I can't sleep, and her mom's just like, like, what?
She's got a white noise machine.
Yeah. Veronica's like, I don't know, just go out there and get a license plate number. I'll handle it in the morning.
Yeah. Try and get as much sleep as you can. Put a pillow over your head, Dan. Not that hard.
Is Veronica studying for midterms, or is she watching Cho and his dad in the pizza place all night?
Veronica is a genius. She doesn't really need to study.
Yeah.
She's going to be valedictorian next year.
I hope she doesn't go to college in this show. It'll be one of the like first shows I've seen like this where they don't do the high school leap into like college. Because Buffy
going to go to college, but she's going to go to like UC Neptune.
Oh yeah, classic.
Yeah, UC Sunnydale. She's going to run into Willow and Buffy there.
Well, she'll get her class protector award next season. End of next season.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Hey, and we know we made fun of you, but you've solved all of our cases, so we want to.
Who's going to want to be the one to nominate her?
Who's the Jonathan of this?
Yeah, I was going to say.
You know, they would just have Logan do it because he'd put his like pouty face on and be like, no.
Yeah. But anyway, so Veronica's at school with Logan, and she corners him in the computer room, which seems to be the only set they have for this school. And she's like, so when are you planning on telling everybody that I'm investigating everybody with this Lilly Kane murder case and that I'm obsessed and I'm some weirdo?
Did this scene come out of nowhere for you?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, because I was like, you might have put a bow on that when he was standing in front of you talking. Like, you didn't think ripping up the check and you guys having a tender, like, all right, respect moment. Now you think, Logan's still going to screw me.
Yep.
Like, what?
Yep. I thought this scene, in general, storytelling wise, was pretty bad.
It's like, really forcing the hand of guilt on someone.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't know.
So Logan's like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. But something has been bothering me because do you really think that stuff about Duncan's epilepsy is true? Like that medication that he's taking, it's really for his epilepsy? And Veronica's like, yeah. And, you know, if he doesn't take it, like it's really intense side effects. Like he could have dizzy spells, he could have mood swings, or he could just go on complete blind rage blackouts.
Wait, so the girl that you overheard talking about this in the bathroom, she was right again.
That fucking lying piece of shit. That gossip queen bitch.
Meanwhile, here she is just saying the same thing to his best friend.
Yeah. And once Logan hears that, he starts rubbing his chin. He's like, blind rage blackout. Sounds familiar. But Veronica, you have to promise me you won't tell anyone about this. And Veronica's like, go ahead, tell me. He's like, well, one time I was hanging out with Duncan at his place and everything was fine. And then I just heard screaming from another room, and I thought it was like a TV that was on or something. I don't know. So I ran to the other room, and I saw Duncan on top of his father with his hands around his throat, choking him and about to kill him. And then we pulled him off of Jake, and then, you know, he sat down for a little bit, and then it was fine, like nothing ever happened. It was just Duncan. He didn't really seem to remember it, and I was going to bring it up at school the next day, but then I thought, why would I do that?
And when I got back from my overseas trip and I found out my girlfriend and his sister was murdered, never mentioned anything like that to the cops. Didn't.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't until I looked on your computer and saw that he had this thing that I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, No way. He had a blind rage blackout like I just explained. When did this happen? And Logan's like, it was the week that you and him broke up. And then he like looks over his shoulder and walks out of the room. Mic drop moment.
Yeah, I liken this scene to the Amelia being like, yeah, we moved away from my dad after he hit my mom and they got a divorce. But can I see him, please? I know he's also convicted for murder and I don't know if he's innocent or not, but he hit my mom, we left, and I don't know he's dying. I don't know that he's dying, but I still want to see him. You know how she could, and I don't know why she's asking Veronica to arrange this, because you could just like try.
Yeah, you're like his daughter.
Yeah, like it's not that the stranger that randomly showed up on your doorstep is not the person that has the access to your dad. Veronica has met with him twice, and she's just nobody. And like, you think that the daughter can't? But I don't understand why she wants to, based off of what she just heard. Yeah. I don't know. And this one is all about, now the problem I have with this scene is that it makes it about less about solving Lily's murder and more about like, who really broke up you and Duncan? Was it Celeste or was it Jake? And I'm like, I don't care because you guys might be related. Like even in her flashback, she had her Lily be like, oh, found out about the stepsisterness. And I'm like, yeah, if that's true, I'm happy they broke you up. Yeah. Your mom should have, honestly, the mom should have stopped it because the mom literally said, I don't know who your dad is. Yep. And she freaked out when you said you were dating Duncan. She should have broken that shit up. And I think she had, you have to. Yeah. That's like your whole, like that should be like your number one goal. Like you can't date Duncan. You probably shouldn't even be hanging out with him. Or you got to come out and be like, that might be your brother. Don't tell your dad. But also don't have sex with this kid. Yeah. Yeah. Not taking pictures of them getting ready to go to homecoming, which is like, all right, I guess they're going to have sex tonight and I'm just going to fingers crossed. Like what are these parents doing? Hey, get ready to go to the Scholastic Excellence at the murderer's house. Hope you don't have any trauma being by the pool where your friend died. What? What is going on? Yeah, dude, it's wild. It is wild. You're right. Logan just mic drops that too. It was the week you broke up. You two broke up. Well, it's also like more evidence pointing because like the evidence for Lily's death was that she was choked to death. And Logan's like, well, his hands were around Jake's throat. Well, the evidence is that she was choked to death. Isn't it the blunt trauma to her head? I could have swore in the first episode, it was like there were like choke marks around her throat. Like they were handprints. I mean, every one of these recent flashbacks was her like with hitting a bloody head. Yeah. So I don't know if the choking, but it was like Duncan can go into wild rage. And I'm like, yeah. Me. Yeah, and all the flashbacks the imagined flashbacks involve hitting her in the head. Yeah. But they are doing some retconning because there's no way Logan was out of the country. Yeah. I could have sworn like the first episode they were talking about how there was like neck trauma for being choked. The first episode backup was a white pit bull. That's true. Yeah. That is true. But anyway. So then Veronica, she is researching the license plate of the truck that was honking outside of Sabrina's place. What you do after you find out that your brother lover is a rageaholic. Yeah. Yep. And she finds out that the car that the plate that this car is registered to is a woman that is or was married to Vinnie Van Lowe. Ex-wife of Van Lowe. Okay, yeah. Deborah Villarreal. Yeah. And so Veronica's like, all right, I'm going to go to Vinnie Van Lowe's office. And he's got a nice signage out there. He's got double guns on his thing. Vinnie Van Lowe, private eye. Though. His office is very cluttered. And the secretary that's there, Veronica's like, hey, I'm selling some cookies, yada, yada, yada.
she buys some Spirit Week cookies and then if you buy 2 boxes, you get a pin, you get a big button. And the mom's like, all right, I'll buy 2. Who cares? Yeah, sure. But it's revealed that the secretary is Vinnie Van Lowe's mom.
Assistant Joe.
Office assistant. I don't know how secretary is like derogatory.
I don't understand how this derogatory either. We have a Secretary of State.
Yeah.
But
Secretary of Education, Secretary of Health.
Somehow
there's all kinds of secretaries.
You keep the same job and you change the name from secretary to assistant, and everyone's like,
administrative assistant.
Done.
Yeah.
Administrative assistant sounds so much worse to me.
Yeah. But Vinny shows up and he's got a new mustache and he's got suspenders and a tight black mock neck on. He's like, oh, Veronica Mars, what are you doing here? And she's like, hey, my dad wanted to say thanks for the offer, but he's going to refuse. But he wanted to give you this pen as a token of goodwill. And she's like, so also, who hired you to harass Sabrina? And he's like, Sabrina, I don't know who this person is. What are you talking about? And Veronica's like, dude, cut the crap, dude. Like, come on. Like, who hired you? He's like, nobody hired me. I don't know what you're talking about. And you know what? I think you should leave. So Veronica's like, all right, I'll leave. But before she leaves, she rips off his fake mustache, which I thought was funny. I fucking love Vinnie Van Lowe.
Yeah, I mean, the fake mustache rip was fine. I mean, I think it would have been... He didn't have the mustache when he first showed up.
No, he did not.
I think if he had the mustache when he first showed up and then she ripped it off here, that would be a better payoff. But we've already know that the mustache is like fake. So her ripping it off then isn't like oh yeah, I saw through your disguise the whole time. You know, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But Veronica leaves. She goes to her car and Sabrina's there. And Sabrina's like, so what did you find out? And Veronica's like, nothing. And Sabrina's like, what the fuck am I paying you for, dude? And Veronica's like, nothing yet. Let me log on to privateeyes.com and tap into the bug that I've got. And so she overhears Vinnie Van Lowe and she's talking about like, hey, mom, like, you know anything about this yada, yada, yada? And Veronica's like, ooh, he's about to spill some information. And then Vinnie Van Lowe starts singing Private Eyes by Hall & Oates. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I can see you. I don't know how the song goes. He's like, I can see you, your private eyes. And he goes, Veronica Mars, I know that you're trying to spy on me. And he goes to his window with the pen in his hand. He's like, I know you're fucking bugged me. And he's like mocking her.
Yeah, because looking right out of the window at her.
So good.
This is a key thing with like storytelling and screenwriting, and just having Vinny be somewhat smart and capable lets you know that he could be a good private eye. Like, he's a crooked guy, but he actually does have the skill set. He knows you can't get him with just your generic tricks. Like, as soon as we saw the pen as the audience, we're like, oh yeah, it's got to be a bug, because that's all she does is throw bugs around, which are expensive. I don't know how much stuff they have. Like, who's making these things?
I don't know.
Like, you have to go to like a place. Like, how many of those pens do they have that have bugs in them that are like...
They've got one less because he chucks it out the window.
Yeah. You better scramble and pick it up and see if it's still good.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, it was cool to see that he wasn't just like fooled and just said something. So I was like, okay, cool. This is actually a worthy adversary for Keith or any future episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes back into his office and Sabrina's like, well, fuck, what are we going to do now? And Veronica's like, just wait. I've got a second bug. Because I thought that the initial bug was going to be in the box of chocolates. Mm-hmm. Or whatever, cookies that she sold.
Yeah, I was surprised she was selling cookies. Yeah.
Yeah. But Veronica actually has a second bug that's a video camera that is in the button, it seems like, that she gave the mom of Vinnie Van Lowe. And now they're logged in and tapped into that video camera. And Vinny's like, fuck, we got to get rid of that Villanueva fucking car. We got to do it because Veronica's onto us. And Veronica's like, bingo.
No, that's not what happened. But
are you serious? That They talk about, he's like, I got to get rid of the K car, which is what Veronica brought up.
No, because I went back on this scene because I was like, because after this scene, Veronica was like, I know what happened. And what happens in this scene is he goes like, hey, get the pizza place on the line. You were like, you're hungry? He's like, no, it's business.
He does say we got to get rid of the K car, though.
Yeah, but that's not what
the K car.
But that's not what makes her figure out what happened. He says, we need to get the pizza place on the line. And then the mom goes like, you're hungry? You still hungry? He's like, no, it's business.
Yeah.
Okay. That's because I went back to that because I was like, is this another one of those things where something random gets said and Veronica goes, I got it. I was like, wait, what actually was said? And that's what's said. Because once he says the pizza place, that's because we cut right to the next thing. But I don't buy that she planned that there's a camera in that pen that is giving that quality video that she just has. And that, what a gamble to only give the pen if you sell the 2 boxes.
Right.
Because what if she said, no, I just want the 1? Because that was the extra enticing part. It's like, if you buy 2, you get this button for free. I mean, that camera, like a lipstick camera and that like pen, that's like high level.
Yeah, that camera, I mean, it was a little pixelated and blurry or whatever.
But I'm just saying, like,
that's for 2005 technology?
For a wireless pen. But
yeah.
That she's looking at on her laptop in the car, like with ever local Wi-Fi that she had in 2005.
Yeah. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
But we go then.
Sabrina, I wanted to say that Sabrina looks a little bit like Tara from Buffy in this scene. That's what I noticed too.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all. All right. We can move on.
I'm glad that you picked that up about the pizza place, though.
Yeah, I had to go back.
The K car thing.
Because the K car would not have led her to this.
Yeah. So we go to the Jake Kane household. And Sabrina's there with her mom. Hamilton Cho is there with his dad. And Veronica is there. And Jake and Celeste are there. And it turns out, and the vice principal Clemens is there.
Yes. Now, this would not be taking place at Jake Kane's house. This would take place in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, 100%. There's no way they're all going over to Jake Kane's house for this. 2, but Veronica does not need to be here.
Yeah, I was like, why is Veronica here?
Veronica, you have bad history with these people. You being here doesn't help.
Yeah. But it is revealed that Hamilton Cho's dad was the one that hired Vinnie Van Lowe to harass Sabrina. And Jake Kane is like, look, this is a whole clusterfuck, all right? This is a very sticky situation. You guys are separated by 0.1 GPA. How about this? I'm willing to split the scholarship in half. As long as you two remain 1 and 2, you each get a scholarship. How does that sound? And Sabrina's mom's like, no, fuck that. My daughter deserves this. This guy, he hired people to harass me and my daughter. Well, not me. I was dead asleep in the middle of the night.
Yeah. After those 7 glasses of wine, I am out.
This guy, he had people hired to harass my daughter. And I think the vice principal somebody is like, yeah, but Hamilton didn't know anything about that. Like, this is the dad. Like, why are you punishing Hamilton for this? And she's like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck this family.
Yeah, because no one ever punished Veronica for her dad, Keith, thinking that Jake was the murderer. Yeah, everyone went real easy on her, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And the Hamilton's dad is like, please, Miss Sabrina's mom, please have a heart.
Dude, you have no leg to stand on, guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, the thing I didn't like about this is that it was hard to tell who started. Because when Veronica goes to the pizza place, Hamilton is like, oh, Sabrina's got everything. She's spoiled. She gets this and this and this. And then we get the same talking points from Hamilton's dad in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a chicken and the egg situation. Like, did Hamilton get that mindset because the dad said it? Or did the dad overhear Hamilton complaining about it and then that made him like who made the mentality be that?
Yeah, who planted that seed? Yeah. But like when Hamilton's dad is like, please have a heart. And she's like, no, fuck you.
I think this episode should have been titled something like Solomon or something. What is it, King Solomon, where he split the baby in half or whatever?
Yeah. That's the
that's
wisdom of Solomon.
Because that's what Jake Kane feels like sitting there. He's like, well, we could split it and you guys both get half. And then it's like, no. Like,
yeah.
I understand what they're trying to do here. They're trying to make the mom of Sabrina real evil character, like real bad character here. But at the same time, it's like Hamilton's dad can't just get rewarded for doing this. Like this is still, it's.
I mean, Sabrina's mom is like, you're lucky we aren't going to the cops.
Yeah, like they were like, we're not splitting it, and if you don't do this, I'm going to sue you or something. And like she'll win because like, dude, you hired a shady private investigator to torment a high school girl for a scholarship. Like there's other scholarship options out there. Like he probably won't. This is obviously the
well, that's what chance. I was going to say.
But like so they make it seem like this is the one and only scholarship.
Yeah. Like Sabrina's mom, she's like, I'll only agree not to call the cops if Hamilton agrees to drop out of the valedictorian race. Which is what? Like just start purposely doing bad in school? Like what?
I withdraw my name from the ballot.
Yeah, like I don't know. But then like Hamilton agrees to it.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine, I won't do it. Whatever, it's fine. We already lost. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, when he's like, it's fine. My thought process was like, there's other scholarships out there. Like, especially if you're valedictorian, like, dude, I wasn't anywhere near.
You got accepted to Oxford, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that I wasn't anywhere near valedictorian of my high school, and I got scholarships.
Yeah, and you went to a state school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I got like, there's always like certain things and certain financial aid. Like it's still going to suck.
Yeah.
Like you can still get something. Like he was going to get a full ride, which is like crazy, you know?
Well, you can get multiple scholarships too. Like I got a couple of scholarships.
Yeah, I can't even remember what. There were so many different things, but.
Yeah, there's so many bullshit ones. Like I got 2 from like local senators or something. Like
I get for
all you gotta do is write a letter.
I get for simplicity sake of like the show being like, all right, this is the chance. Yeah. But then it's like the dad did something egregious, and you can complain like, oh, she's got all the advantages, like the whole system's rigged. Like if you can pay for an SAT tutor, you're obviously going to do better on SATs than someone that doesn't do it, yada yada yada. But you can't actively try to undercut them doing it to get ahead too, because that's what you think they're doing, and you call this leveling the playing field by making her like stay up and tormenting her. That like the dad has nothing to say here, and Veronica being there, it's just like she's a part of the show. She does not need to be she does not need to be sitting there, and Jake Kane doesn't like you, so that doesn't help Hamilton's case. And then here's the thing: Veronica does all this, right? She could find out this information and then be like, oh, should we even go forward with this? Because you know what's at stake, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know that the $500 you just made just cost this kid like $100,000 and a chance to go to Oxford. Like, maybe take a lesson from Van Lowe, go up to him and be like, hey, I know you guys did this, but like, hey, you guys got to cut it out and play fair, and I'll give the money back to Sabrina, but you guys stop it and you win this fair and square. Like that's the move by Veronica.
No, Veronica's she's bought and paid for.
She goes straight to the vice principal, tells Sabrina, and then sits there, and she's sitting not next to her client, she's sitting next to Hamilton and the dad.
Well, she was, I mean, in the car, she is next to Sabrina. She's like, oh, I figured it out.
Yes.
Like, be like, oh, I don't know. Like, Veronica just screwed over Hamilton, who she had a lot of sympathy for earlier in this episode.
Yeah. And then after this scene, she has sympathy for. But you could have
way to create an enemy, Veronica.
Or not, because he's just like super like casual. Like at the end, I was like,
wait, he's the most chill motherfucker.
One should be pissed at his dad. Dad should be like fucking bawling his eyes out. He just fucking screwed his son's chances up. Because he could have maybe got there.
Yeah.
He could have maybe beat her. And then they start walking outside and they go into the car, and Veronica's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I took a small payday to ruin your life."
Your whole future's ruined.
Yeah. But he doesn't hate Veronica for this.
Have fun at not Oxford.
And he's not mad at her for this. He's not mad at her for this at all. And then,
well, he's like, I can still go to another college. It's not a big deal. I could go to UCLA, which I think is a private school still.
No, it's a state. He said I can go to a state school, and he lives in California. Lots of good schools here.
But I'm pretty sure UCLA isn't UCLA a private school?
Does that not make it a state school?
Private schools are more expensive, though.
But isn't it still in the state that you're in? Isn't that the whole thing?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
but like Cal Berkeley is a private school too.
Yeah, but it's still cheaper because you still get like discounts because it's in state, right?
I don't think so. I think private schools are still like mad expensive.
Every school in California will be cheaper than Oxford.
Because in Maryland, like I was looking at the prices. This is very specific of a private school in Maryland, Loyola University. And it's way more expensive than the University of Maryland. And it's still like the same price if you're out of state.
Okay. It's still going to be cheaper than going to London.
Overseas. Yeah.
So, and he's like, Prost is Prost or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, so casual about this. Like,
he's very chill.
But I'm like, you were bitching in the pizza place. What changed now? And he's like, yeah. He's like, they can't do this. He's still going to
end up working for me, though. And he like winks at Veronica. And Veronica's like, yeah, she is that dumb bitch that gave me $500 to ruin your life.
Yeah, the one that already is hurt will just live off her family's money and also be successful in whatever she does too. Like, yeah. Good.
Probably get a family business handed down to her.
Yeah. She should have done a Van Lowe and said, hey, you pay me $600. I keep this quiet.
Yes, dude.
Learn a little lesson from Van Lowe. That would have been a great
setup payoff.
Yeah.
And then we see Zachary Ty Bryan jump off a roof.
Just in the background.
Sabrina, I love you.
I didn't tell him to do that. Guess I got another murder to solve. But honestly, it's just like, just thinking about it, it's like, why Veronica? You know what's at stake here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with Veronica stopping them from doing this. Or telling Van Lowe, cut it out, right?
Yeah.
But like to then cut to a scene where she's sitting there like, and she's not sitting next to Sabrina who hired her to do it. She's sitting like, I'm on the side of the people I ratted out.
Yeah. And she looks very sheepish too.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm sorry for doing this, but you did wrong stuff.
Yeah, we don't even get to see the scene where she says, oh, the dad did it. Yeah. She doesn't even think Hamilton did it. She, they kind of like jump forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hate how, like, everything gets wrapped up nicely. He's like, yeah, I never really wanted to go to Oxford. I'm like, you were just bitching about this.
Yeah.
And then the dad just sits quietly in the car and Cho drives away, which was real.
Yeah, Hamilton. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I feel like the parent would be driving in this situation.
Yeah, I never really drove my parents around in high school.
No, not at all. And I got my license as soon as I turned 16 too.
Same. But anyway, we then go to Clarence Wiedman, who finds Amelia's boyfriend, and he's yapping to him. Amelia calls Veronica, and she's like, "Hey, the papers that you wanted from my mom, they're going to arrive soon." Wiedman then calls once Amelia's done on the phone with Veronica. Wiedman calls Amelia, and he's like, "Amelia Delongpre, I have some information for you. The girl that you've been hanging out with isn't who she says she is." And I was like, what is he about to say?
Yeah, right.
And then so Veronica tells Keith that Amelia's mom has got the papers. Let's ride to LA or wherever the Ocean Beach Hotel is. We got to go. And then Veronica's driving Keith.
Mm-hmm.
They pull up to the hotel and they go to Amelia's room and they open the door. And who's there but Clarence Wiedman with all the papers? And he's putting them into a little folder. Veronica's like, where's Amelia? And he's like, she's gone. And I got all these papers. Thanks for leading me right to her, Veronica, and all this shit.
I love this is like Matilda, just paperwork just being signed without a notary, a third party witness. Just
because Amelia finalized the settlement from the Kane software. And we never... Clarence says that, like, Amelia was pissed because Veronica didn't tell her that her dad was dying.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that, like, when he's like, she's not who she says she is. Like, who did he say that she was?
Yeah.
She sees Veronica Mars.
Yeah. I feel like they need to be like, oh, her dad was disgraced for, like, if he was going to tell, like, I think in this scene, he has to be like, oh, I told him that you were the daughter of the disgraced sheriff who wants to, like, frame someone else for the murder. Like, he needs to say that here for that line of she isn't who she says, because she might not know Veronica is Veronica Mars and the sheriff, you know, Keith Mars. Like, she might not make that connection. And then you say that as a baseline, and then you say, oh, did she tell you that your dad was dying? Then that would be enough to put you over. Also, kind of a scene you want to see. I kind of want Amelia there. I kind of want Amelia to throw back into Veronica's face. I want Veronica to be like, no, you don't understand. You can't trust this guy. She's like, I don't know who to believe, but he's offering me $3 million and I'm going to take it.
He's got a trench coat and a suit and tie on and a trilby.
And he showed me a business card and he has a photo of me in his. So obviously.
But yeah, Keith and Veronica, they leave defeated. They've been had by Clarence Wiedman.
He's like, I don't know where she went. Wherever someone goes with their newfound wealth. Like, she just, I guess she's going back to college though, maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know why you wouldn't, because your stuff is there.
Yeah. No, she went to, as Veronica theorizes, like St. Croix or whatever, or Barcelona Croix. Or something. St. Croix, yeah. Or Barbados. She's like, I don't know any of these rich people places.
Like, or Neptune, maybe.
Yeah.
Seems like that's where all the rich people decide to go.
Gonna hang out with Bone Hamilton.
Go back to her college. She's probably in her dorm room getting her stuff.
Yeah. She's hanging out with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
She fucking can't be separated from. But Veronica's all disheartened. She's at the Mars office and Keith shows up and he's like, oh, hey, didn't see you there, honey. It's like, weren't you two together?
He's being Keith.
Yeah. And he opens up his safe full of the Kane murder trial documents and he tells Veronica the code. He's like, it's 411541 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, yeah, a bunch of random numbers, like you told me. He's like, no, it's not. It's like the flight number for when me and your mom went on our honeymoon. I could never remember random numbers.
I really wish I could see my wife again. You haven't seen her, have you, Veronica? Have you seen your mother recently?
Anyway, he dumps all of these files in front of Veronica and they're like, all right, let's work on this case together. And Keith reveals that when the call came in that Lilly was found murdered, he was the first one on the scene. And we see a flashback of Jake and Celeste being questioned by Keith. And Jake was like, I knew the kids were home. We had just got home 5 to 10 minutes ago. And Keith is looking over at Duncan, who's like shifting on a bench. He's like rocking back and forth, freaking out. And Keith then hears a buzzer and he's like, you guys doing laundry? And Jake and Celeste kind of look at each other like, yeah, I guess, yeah. And this is what led to Keith being suspicious because he's like, these two motherfuckers had housekeepers. There's no way they'd been doing their laundry. And when I looked into what was in the laundry, it was a soccer uniform. Who wears soccer uniforms? Duncan.
Now, I understand this flashback being told towards the end of the episode, but why we are peeling this onion weird?
Yeah.
Because we know that Veronica was in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica ends up coming into the house and seeing the body. Like, we've seen a flashback of her walking. Yeah. And then Keith is telling her, like, hey, so I was the first one on the scene. She's like, no shit, dude, I was there. I literally came in and saw the backyard and she talked to Duncan too.
Yeah. She was like, Duncan, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
She like sat with him. She was like on her knees in front of him and stuff.
Yeah, they had a whole conversation. And none of Keith's reasoning, because in the earlier episodes, Veronica was like mad at her dad. Like, why did you have to go after him so bad? Because if you knew, and he'd never told her about the fucking soccer uniform and the ding.
Yeah.
He only told him that the times didn't matter. Now they keep adding this weird stuff to the crime that's not like new information that they're discovering. Like the shoe stuff is interesting. Okay, that's a new discovery. The ticket, new discovery that matches already what Keith had already thought. But now Keith is revealing this late in the game after we've already had a scene where they're like, all cards on the table. And now he's like, I have one more card. Actually, when I first got there, before you came in, I guess, or after you were already there. Like, I can't even tell when Veronica would show up in this scene. But I heard the ding of the dryer thing. I know I never mentioned that. And during the interviews that you've been listening to of the interrogations, I did not once ask that question about the laundry. You have listened to every stolen tape of the interrogation, and it's not a part of it. Like, it's just slight cheats that just you're adding things late.
To be fair, Veronica still hasn't told Keith on screen about the traffic ticket,
which doesn't even matter anymore because the traffic ticket was the thing that made the whole timeline off. Yeah. But now Keith is saying, I think the timeline was off because the body temperatures were different. And I'm like, wait, which one was it? Was it them saying that they were at the hotel, the motel's different? Was it, does the traffic ticket mean that the time was different? Like, and he's like, no, I actually think they were lying because I found something, they were doing their own laundry. I'm like, that's a whole nother different motivation.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. They're kind of like, I don't know. The way they're adding layers to this is tricky to me.
Yeah. But then Veronica has a
can't believe we ended on
flashback. Imagine flashback of Lilly laying by the pool. There's a shadow cast over her. You're in my sun. And it's Duncan. Duncan whacks her over the head in a fit of rage. And that's the episode.
I was like, yeah, if we weren't teasing that Duncan might be the murderer, let's just show that in the last shot.
Yeah. And that is the wrap. Everything's pointing to Duncan right now as of this episode.
Way too hard.
Yeah. There's got to be a fake out.
Yeah. Like, how was Veronica not locked in on that whole Celeste conversation from that Christmas party?
Also, can I just say this too? If Keith found the soccer uniform in the dryer, why did he go after Jake Kane as the murderer?
Yeah. Like,
all the evidence is like pointing away, is pointing to Duncan, at least now.
All the evidence is pointing to Duncan and a cover-up that Jake and Celeste both did, because both of their stories don't check out. But yet he was like, Jake did it. Now we're going to get like some new information later where like he catches like Jake throwing some gloves away or something. I don't know. Like you're saying, this does not actually make it seem like Jake's the murderer. It seems like he's covering up something that Duncan did.
Because like when he says to Veronica, like, you know what I found in the dryer?
Yeah.
A soccer uniform. And he looks at her like, you know what that means? Jake was playing soccer earlier. Like what? Like why would he go after Jake if that's what he found and that's what makes him like, I don't think Abel Koontz did this.
Did Lilly play soccer and she got murdered and they washed her clothes and put her in a different outfit? I have no.
I mean, it's established that Duncan plays soccer.
Okay.
Like he's the captain. Remember in the video that Logan made when he was running for class president, he was like, he's the star of the varsity soccer team.
Yeah, I really don't pay attention to Duncan.
I just, with all the stuff that Keith has found, there's no way he would go after Jake.
There's nothing that points to Jake being the murderer from anything that we've seen in the recent episodes.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Speaking of, who do you think killed Lilly?
You know, this is going to be a real one. I think...
I'm scared when you say that. That's my trigger warning.
Well, it can't be Duncan now. Like, it's too obvious.
Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling Duncan's in the show for a couple more seasons.
Yeah, me too. You know what? I think Vinny Van Lowe did it.
Okay.
Vinny Van Lowe did it to screw over Keith because he was jealous of Keith being the sheriff or whatever and getting all the like cop cases. So he was like, you know, I want to take this guy down a peg and he's going to come down to my level and he's going to have to charge half of what I charge and see what real PIs do.
That'd be amazing.
Who do you think killed Lilly Kane?
I think it's Vinny Van Lowe's mom, but that'd be fun. But no, what I wrote down is I think it was a disgruntled driver that Lilly cut off in traffic, killed her.
Oh, okay.
Because every single one of Veronica's flashbacks is Lilly being a provocateur. Everyone. It's not like Lilly was minding her own business or like something weird happened or she saw something she shouldn't. She was like talking, like firing off from her mouth, just shooting the shit, like just saying something, like just like she just needled
Weevil in front of her dad.
Yeah, just like needling somebody to the point where they just lost their shit. And this is the same. And this is the same episode that we hear Amelia be like, "Yeah, I mean, my dad hated Jake Kane, and my mom spilled some coffee on his work, and he backhanded her." And hey, can I talk to my dad?
Can I go hang out with that guy?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like Lilly, that traffic thing where she ran a light, she cut off somebody, and they were like, "Fuck this!" Road raged, followed her back home, killed her,
and she deserved it. And
that
next
is
episode,
a Joe Welke
next episode
proclamation, not mine.
Next episode is titled "Weapons of Class Destruction."
I feel like that's what Veronica did to Hamilton's
I was
show.
Say, I feel like that should be the title of this episode.
Yeah.
That should totally be the name of this episode.
Yeah, the class,
because it's all about class and like how Sabrina can afford to get all these tutors and stuff, and Veronica's blowing up.
One thing we didn't mention though, also, hey, billionaire Kane, just pay for both of them,
right?
You don't have to pay for Lilly. You don't have to pay for Lilly to go to school anymore. I guess that's what the scholarship is for. I guess that's what the scholarship is in her name.
I mean, after Sabrina leaves, he could pull the Chose aside and be like, "Hey,
I got you.
If you really, I got you."
Dude, I'm paying $3 million to cover up some stuff, and it's basically just stock money. It's not even real money. It's all toy. This is all
write off anyway.
It's all But also, and I'm getting free pizzas for life, motherfucker.
But yes, weapons of class destruction. I'm just hung up on that should have been the name of this episode. To even like think of something to predict.
All right, so it's a play on weapons of mass destruction, weapons of class destruction. God, what silliness is going to be? What like damaging trauma will be in this? But then what silly B story that Veronica's solving?
Yeah.
Shit. This is a tough one.
Yeah, this is tough. Weapons of class destruction. You know, I think this is going to be a Weevil-centered episode, whereas he's talking about how it's more comes out about his relationship with Lilly and how like they're kind of Romeo and Juliet type situation where like they can't be together because he's low class and she's high class or something. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've already done class president stuff. Teachers. Weapons. We're gonna get a paintball episode. Something goes wrong.
Ooh, 09ers versus 08ers or whatever.
Yeah, this is around the paintball time.
Craze,
right?
Yeah. All right. Well, that is a wrap, everybody, for Canes and Abels. Thanks so much for listening. Hop on our Discord. Link is in the show notes. And let us know what you thought. Vote in that. When are we going to put out that poll for next month? Probably not this week.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
we haven't even decided. We haven't even figured out the movies yet. But hop on the Discord.
Yeah.
We might post this on our Instagram page or our TikTok.
Yeah, which is at Boys Watching Buffy. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we're doing Dollhouse. The movie of the month that will be out soon is Matilda. Check out that Movie Wars podcast too. It was a good time. Very fun podcast. And if you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating, review, Spotify 5-star rating, take a screenshot of it, send it to us, get us something off of that Amazon wish list, namely Vance for putting up with my bullshit. And yeah, we will see you next time for when we talk about weapons of class destruction.
Come on inside. We don't bite.
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.